Thank you for joining our virtual Texas Arbor Day celebration. We're celebrating the old-fashioned way, planting some trees. Join us today as we show celebrations from across the state for Texas Arbor Day, as well as the ceremony and tree planting from our host city, Weatherford, Texas. Happy Texas Arbor Day.
Howdy folks, welcome to our Texas Arbor Day virtual live event. This is our second time doing this. We thank y'all for being here. I'm here today on this beautiful day in the city of Pasadena. My name's Matt Weaver. I'm Regional Urban and Community Forest with Texas A&M Forest Service down here in the Houston region. Fortunate to be here with some very special guests in the city of Pasadena at Burke Crenshaw Park. Those of you that saw that, maybe have been on last year and saw this when I was down in Galveston, two of my very special guests were actual dogs, because we were celebrating a tree planting at a dog park. I don't have dogs today, but I have some of the top dogs here in the city of Pasadena. So we have the mayor, Mr. Mark Wagner here. Jeff Wagner. and I have Jed Aplaka, the parks director here. So I'm going to be talking to them a little bit about some of the activities and things going on in their community. So Mayor, what are some of the things that you guys have done to help celebrate Texas Arbor Day in your community?
You know, we started as soon as Jed got on board here, it was about 4 years ago, correct? Using a lot of our volunteers from our schools and just citizens throughout our whole community to start planting trees everywhere we could. We love our green space here in Pasadena, but we also, beyond that, we will make our green spaces the best that we can. And I think in 4 years, we've actually done exactly what we want to do, and even more, by using volunteers and planting trees everywhere we can. And again, another example is this fresh tree that we just planted right here. Jed and his crew, I'm telling you what, are the best in Texas, and we're very proud they're here in Pasadena.
All right, sounds great. So Mayor or Jed, can you guys tell me about some of the initiatives that your community is doing?
This is a Jed question.
For some of the great to help trees and urban forests within your community and citizens.
So some of the things that we're doing, one of the biggest things is we just finished our master plan this past year. One of the biggest things that the community really wanted was additional trees in the green space, additional trees in the city for various reasons. So we wanted to make sure that we're able to provide that. So over the past few years, we planted a couple thousand trees, and I think ongoing we have, the plan to continue planting several thousand more trees over the next few years.
That sounds great. And I also heard that you guys might be trying to get your Tree City USA certification.
Yeah, one of the things that we're working closely with Texas A&M Forest Service. We've talked with you guys quite a bit. We think it's an important thing to work towards, and it shows that Pasadena is really dedicated to, providing a great quality of life and providing, great opportunity for the people here and for the environment.
Well, that sounds great. We've got, I think, 6 more communities till we reach our 100th Tree City USA community within Texas. So maybe you guys could be hopefully you guys could be the 100.
Wouldn't that be great?
That'd be great. Well, I really appreciate you guys being here and being one of our hosts for this virtual Texas Arbor Day. We've got several other communities we're going to get to, but thanks again for having me and hosting. I really appreciate you coming out. So happy Texas Arbor Day, everybody.
Exactly.
Today we're here to celebrate the city of Denton being recognized for 30 years as a Tree City USA. I'd like to extend a special thanks to Councilmembers Johnson, Davis, and Amator. There are not many cities that have reached this level yet. To celebrate our 30th anniversary, we're planting this autumn blaze maple here today.
As you're planting trees this Arbor Day, remember to plant and care for those trees with fire in mind. If you live in a wildfire-prone area, you can take a number of steps to reduce the wildfire risk and make the trees that you're planting more fire-resistant. This can be removing ladder fuels around your mature trees and removing the vegetation and cleaning it up around the younger trees that you plant. Ladder fuels, as you can see on this tree behind me, would be the vegetation around the tree and up to about 1/3 of the height, so you would remove the tree branches. Happy Texas Arbor Day!
Did you know that Texans benefit from working healthy forests? People gain cultural value from a healthy forest by seeing, thinking, experiencing, and learning about a natural outdoor environment. Texas has 4 national forests and 5 state forests that are managed for multiple uses, including public recreation. Managed forests provide recreational opportunities for the public, such as fishing, hunting, and hiking. They also provide pollinator habitat and bird observation. Spending time in the woods can result in increased physical activity, which lowers stress levels and increases mental focus. Working forests support local economies through timber harvest, which in turn promotes more diverse populations of both animals and plants. For example, during a timber harvest, dead trees, called snags, are often left standing to provide habitat for wildlife. To find out more about active forest management, visit texasforestry.org.
My name's Mike Sills, and I'm with the Texas A&M Forest Service. Michelle Honeycutt and I are bringing it to you live from McKinney, Texas. And also with me are Jenny Baker and Mac Martin. Jenny is with the City of McKinney, and Mac is with the Texas A&M Forest Service. And what we have going on behind us is the Wilson Creek Riparian Project. Formally restore the canopy, Wilson Creek tree planting event, riparian restoration partnership, and this has been a culmination of planning for the past year. And so my question to you, Jenny, is can you give us a quick rundown of the partners involved in this?
Yeah, absolutely. This is such a great event. First and foremost, I want to thank the Texas Trees Foundation for donating the 5 and 15 gallon trees. They just make such a huge impact. Also want to thank the Parks Foundation, Texas A&M Forest Service, the Herd Museum, Master Gardeners, North Texas Municipal Water District, and of course city staff from Parks Maintenance drilling all the holes and bringing everything out here. And we've got, I think, over 200 volunteers lined up for tomorrow. So this is just a really great event to bring to the city.
Thank you, Jenny. And Mac, my question to you is, can you tell us about the grant used to do this work and how the location was picked?
Sure, Mike. So this was a really unique grant. We got funding from Molson Coors through the Bonneville Environmental Foundation's Change the Course Partnership, which basically connects corporate funding to on-the-ground stream restoration and water quality projects. And so we were able to select this site based on its flood maps, and so I don't know how well you can see behind us, we got 2 inches of rain this past week. We have had a ton of drainage issues and soil and sedimentation issues, and so that's why it's really great to be planting trees on this site. Trees are one of the most cost-effective and impactful ways to stabilize soil erosion and improve water quality to help filter and entrap those unwanted stormwater runoff pollutions from urban areas. And so we're just really excited to be here, thankful to the city, thankful to all of our partners. It's going to be a great event tomorrow. And also it's going to be a zero waste event tomorrow. So the whole thing, top to bottom, is going to be zero waste. Everything is either being recycled or put into the ground. And so it's just great to be here and great to be with these great partners.
Thank you, Mac. And with that, we just want to say Happy
Texas Arbor Day.
Now it is time to announce the Texas Arbor Day contest winners. This year the contest featured tree trails, an application developed by Texas A&M Forest Service to help us map and measure our trees and also calculate the real dollar benefits that they provide to our communities. This year the contest featured 4 categories: school campuses, public libraries, walking distance to a hospital or assisted living facility, and a wild card. There will be 4 winners, and each of those winners will receive $500 in addition to some free trees to improve their outdoor community space. Category 1, school campus. The winner for that is the University of Texas at Tyler. Congratulations to those folks over there, Jeremy Priest and Maddie Burton, for putting that together. Their total trail value that they submitted was $1,643. So those are some impressive trees you guys have over there. They will be planning to use their funds to increase tree planting for Arbor Day on the UT Tyler campus. Second category is public libraries. The winner for that is the City of Louisville Public Library. The total trail value for that was $1,400.83. So congratulations to you guys over there. Category 3 is within walking distance of a hospital or assisted living facility. First place goes to Leonard Lavosha Woods, also known as the LL Woods Park in Louisville. The park is adjacent to the Brookdale Louisville Assisted Living Facility, and the group that put that together plans to use the funds to improve the community space in the surrounding area. Category 4, the wild card, the most unique tree trail. And the winner goes to Spartan Tree Trail at Cy-Fair ISD Nature Trails. That trail was put together by Leslie Jackson and the Science National Honor Society at Cy Lakes High School. Congratulations to you guys for all your hard work in putting that together. That trail really was the most unique. Each tree that you submitted was a different species, and the space sees almost 16,000 students come through annually for field instruction days. So that's really cool. I'm just so glad that you guys were able to put that together. That concludes the contest for this year. Everybody will be notified via email if you won, and all participants that participated in the contest this year will receive a certificate of participation in the contest, as well as some free trees to plant in your area too. Thanks.
All right, good morning, Texas. We're here at the City of Live Oak, Tree City, USA. We're here with the City of Live Oak. Our Assistant City Manager, Michael, is right here. Our TFS intern, Emma Jones, is right here. Debbie, she is with Fair Branches Alliance, Debbie Reed, and Michael Netwich with Fair Branches Alliance. And we're out here planting trees, about 100 trees of native species, pecan, live oak, some pine trees, and very excellent day. I want to turn it over to our Assistant City Manager, Michael. What do you think about these trees being planted in your park?
So I am just so thankful for the Forest Service, for the Fair Branch Alliance, to be out here today. Every tree that we plant is one better tree for the rest of the world. This is an amazing thing. We need to be doing more of this. We are very excited to be planting 100 trees. We're looking forward to the chance to get to plant 100 more sometime soon. So hopefully we'll hit you up for that again. And it's I was just telling one of our volunteers who had to leave that no matter what happens throughout the rest of her day, she would say that she planted a tree. And that's an amazing way to start the day. So we are so very grateful, and thank you so much for being here. Thank you for helping us.
Thank you, Michael. All right, Emma Jones. So what does Arbor Day mean to you?
Wow. So I feel really grateful to be here, have the opportunity to work with everyone here. I currently student at UTSA, and hoping that Arbor Day will be for me the first step towards a long career planting trees and trees. And hoping that when I look back to this park in 20 years in the future, I think that I will have a small impact today. That's something that
Bear Branch Alliance, Michael.
I'm just really thankful to be able to plant trees. And again, I think they all said it's really the benefit that the trees provide. It's not just that we grow clean air, clean water, stormwater control, all of those, oxygen, but it's really the sense of place. It's a sense of ownership that we get. And then when we get that, we also have a sense of community about it, and we want to protect that resource, not just for ourselves, but for everybody else, right? And then we have these new destination spaces to go to relive that experience. So really, really awesome to be here, and thank you for this.
All right, and like we always say, great parks are rooted in deep trees and big trees. So thank you so much, State of Texas. Happy Arbor Day from the City of Weatherford.
Excellent.
Happy Arbor Day.
Did you know the city of Fort Worth is the oldest tree city USA in Texas? And not only that, they own their own municipal tree farm? Here at Rolling Hills Tree Farm, we celebrate trees every day. Tree seeds are collected locally to grow over 30 species of trees, and at any given time, we could have 15 to 20,000 trees growing. Once trees are at the right maturity, they will be planted back into the community. Neighborhood Tree Planting Program and the Tree Grant Program are two free programs that help provide trees to the citizens of Fort Worth. Of course, we couldn't do everything you see here without the help of our volunteers.
Two, one. Good morning and happy Texas Arbor Day. My name is Mickey Merritt and I'm the Houston North Regional Community Forester. With me today is Laura Medic with Harris County Precinct 4. She's the Legacy Tree Project Coordinator. So hey Laura, interesting costume. What are you?
I am an oak tree today. We are out here off of the Spring Creek Greenway Trail, which is considered to be the longest urban riparian forested corridor in the nation. And we are planting at a surrounding neighborhood, McKinney Park, and our goal is to plant 426 trees.
And most of those trees will be planted tomorrow, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Yeah, we do have some volunteers today. But how, you know, the Spring Creek Greenway project, I mean, tell us a little bit more about that project.
Yes, sir. So right now we have paved trails that are accessible to the public. It's 19.1 miles of trail. And off of these green spaces, we can encourage people to plant and care for the trees, and that's what Legacy Trees tries to do. We want people to adopt what they plant because it's not a just one-time planting. You have to come back and check on the tree. You have to monitor the trees.
And the Spring Creek Greenway Trail is the largest linear trail in the nation, at least urban trail, right?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about your historic tree program.
So some of the trees that we'll be planting here have Texas history. I've collected seeds from some of the famous trees. There's 23 counties where I've collected from. I have 32 types of these historical Texas trees, such as the century tree from Texas A&M. We all know the history there that students propose, and there's different traditions. The students look at the century tree as a symbol of courage. And so some of these historical Texas trees we plant at schools and the surrounding communities off of the Greenway Trail. So,
that's very interesting. Well, it looks like a good project. It looks like a perfect day to plant. So from Harris County Precinct 4, McKinney Park, happy Texas Arbor Day.
Bye.
Irving, Texas. Proud to be named Tree City USA for 12 years straight.
It's a great movement that we have here in Irving. We have 2 trained arborists on our staff to make sure that we have a tree program that the city can be proud of.
Irving also has its own tree farm and hosts events throughout the year, partnering with local businesses and educating residents of all ages.
It's really good when you can connect with kids.
Learn more about Irving's urban forestry program at cityofirving.org/3731.
Happy Texas Arbor Day, everyone. I'm here with my friend Smokey Bear to remind you that 9 out of 10 wildfires are human-caused across the country and here in Texas. And that means the majority of wildfires actually occur near our communities, not just out in the middle of wilderness. You can do your part to help keep our urban forest safe from wildfire by making sure you're safe with anything that produces heat or causes sparks. Thanks.
Hi everybody, my name is Logan McMillan with the Texas A&M Forest Service. I'm the West Texas Regional Community Forester. Today I'm with Emidio Gonzalez, Park Superintendent, and Brent Pearson, City Arborist. EG is going to tell us a little bit about the Playa Drain Trail, and Brent's going to talk to us about Arbor Day itself and what we're doing out here. EG, if you want to take over.
Certainly. We're standing along Playa Drain, which is a long part of the El Paso water stormwater control system. It existed before and it had nice level sides along the banks of it. So in conjunction with the Paso del Norte Health Foundation, we laid in a trail along the sides of this reclaimed water canal to be able to provide a place for local citizens and the community itself to use a walking trail. We've added amenities, trees, and shrubs to make it a pleasant walk. And in conjunction with our partners, we're able to offer healthful outside activity by taking advantage of existing infrastructure. It is how we try to expand the value of what we already own to get the most benefit for the dollars available to us. To tell you about the construction of Playa Drain and the trees on it, here's Brent Pearson.
Good morning. My name is Brent Pearson. I'm the arborist for the City of El Paso, and it's a great day to be in West Texas planting trees and celebrating Arbor Day out here, the State Arbor Day. I'm so pleased with what we have done. I mean, Parks Department has planted over 800 trees, not all of them on Playa Drain Trail, but at least 80 of them. We have some volunteers coming out later on today to help us plant more trees and mulch on them. Looking forward to a great day. So happy to be a part of it. Thank you guys.
And I'd just like to say it's a beautiful walk out that spans all the way from Escarate Park all the way to the high school just right here in town. Great place to get outside. We look forward to everyone that celebrates Arbor Day, and everyone have a happy Arbor Day.
We have some very special trees here at the gardens at Texas A&M University. And several of those trees that we have into celebration for our Texas Arbor Day are the La Bahia pecan tree. Wonderful tree, and actually a lot of historical significance to when Texas was a republic. Another tree that we have here is the Stephen F. Austin live oak tree. We also have the Montezuma cypress tree, and it's a tree that's actually an offspring of a tree that's over 1,500 years old. One of the final trees I want to speak about is actually a tree that is actually a native tree to this area of the post oak savanna. The post oak, Quercus stellata, and it's over 200 years old. But we'd like you to come out here, encourage you to come out, just come see the gardens and come see these wonderful, beautiful trees that we have here as we celebrate Texas Arbor Day.
Hello, I'm Hans Williams, and I'm the Dean of the Arthur Temple College of Forestry and Agriculture, and I'm also the Urban Forestry Concentration Advisor for our Bachelor of Science in Forestry degree program here at Stephen F. Austin State University. Urban forestry really deals with the establishment and care and management of individual trees and forests in an urban setting. Oftentimes, if a student is considering a career in urban forestry, they ask what are some of the career options once they complete their degree. Urban forestry students can go to work in the private sector for a commercial tree care company or a landscaping company, or perhaps as an urban forestry consultant. And these are really very good careers where a student has an opportunity to get into the production side of tree care and ultimately move up into sales and consulting in that urban forestry field. If they don't want to work in the private sector, they can move into the public sector, where they can become a city arborist and work oftentimes for mid-size or larger cities, where they have the responsibility of making sure that the urban forest is vibrant and healthy and safe for the public.
The working forests of East Texas are healthy and thriving thanks to the use of active forest management. Forests act as natural filters, cleaning sediments and other pollutants from water. Healthy forests renew our air supply by absorbing carbon dioxide and producing oxygen. As trees grow, they reduce and store carbon from the atmosphere. Wood products like those used in outdoor structures, lumber, and furniture store carbon for their lifetime. Working forests produce goods we use every day, like wood products and paper. Secondary products and byproducts of trees are often used in foods, medicines, and much more. More than 5,000 products we use daily are produced from trees. Working forests really do make life better. Find out more at texasforestry.org.
Welcome to the official Texas Arbor Day for 2021. My name is Hugh Simpson. I'm a department head with the Texas A&M Forest Service, and I'm pleased to join the City of Weatherford, urban forestry advocates from across the state, and other local sponsors in welcoming you to the celebration of the 132nd Texas State Arbor Day. We'll start our statewide celebration by honoring our country. Would you please rise and join me for the posting of the colors? Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. We're honored to have several dignitaries with us today and in the audience, and we're happy to celebrate these individuals. I would like to recognize the following dignitaries. Charlie Cripliver, District Director for U.S. Representative Kay Granger. Mayor Paul Pascal, Mayor of Weatherford. Russ Authier, Parker County Sheriff. Brad Burnett, Aaron Russell, Weatherford Assistant City Managers. Lance Arnold, Weatherford Police Chief. Shannon Goodman, Weatherford Director of Parks and Recreation. Blake Rexroth, Weatherford Director of Communication and Marketing. Kyson Turner, Assistant IT Director. Tammy Gazzola, Weatherford Chamber of Commerce President. Thank you for joining us today. You know, with the simple idea of planting a tree, J. Sterling Morton established the first Arbor Day in the United States more than 140 years ago. Now it is observed across the nation, and in Texas, we have been observing this special holiday for 132 years. What an honor it is for me to preside over this celebration in a city that has made it a priority to have excellence in community forestry. Here, you all value community and tradition. And it is so exciting to see you make the connection between trees, forest, and people. Thank you for embarking on this momentous holiday with us and spearheading the live streaming event so that Texans across the state and beyond can also celebrate activities surrounding trees and pass those activities to family, friends, and future generations. Today, we will honor the City of Weatherford for your work to achieve and maintain your status as a Tree City USA for the 30th year. And the city will also be presented with the official Texas Arbor Day proclamation from the state of Texas. But among all the celebration, here's the bottom line. Today is Texas Arbor Day. It is a day all Texas communities can celebrate trees. And although it's been such a weird couple of years with distancing, virtual meetings, a winter storm for the ages, one thing has not changed. The trees where we live, work, and play are still hard at work for us. And in this turbulent time, we realize their importance more now than ever before. We're here in Weatherford to turn over a new leaf, to start anew. And what better way to start fresh than by planting trees? Today, we can learn to plant and care for our trees. We can also learn about the many health benefits trees provide for us every day, like lowering blood pressure and heart rates, encouraging outdoor activities, and generally healthier lifestyles, and decreasing mental fatigue by relaxing and restoring the mind. This is a great opportunity for us to get outside, learn about trees and how they protect and affect us. And today we are starting here in Weatherford, but we're also live streaming this event across the state with lots of other Arbor Day activities. Check out the Texas A&M Forest Service Facebook page, YouTube channel, or the Weatherford Parks and Recreation Department Facebook page to celebrate with your own family, friends, and communities. At this time, we'd like to read the State Arbor Day proclamation and present it to the City of Weatherford from the office of the Governor, Greg Abbott. Would Charlie Kripliver please join me on stage along with Mayor Paul Pascal?
Good morning, everyone. This is a proclamation from Governor Abbott's office. I'm the district director for Congressman Greg K. Granger, but I've been asked to read this, and I'm honored to do so. From the piney woods of East Texas to the numerous varieties of oak and scrubby mesquite found throughout the state, the many trees of Texas are beautiful and prominent features of our unique and breathtaking landscape. Texas trees contribute far more than just natural beauty. They offer shade as a means of natural energy conservation, add value to our real estate, shape our environment by cleaning our air and controlling water runoff and flooding, all while offering us nutritious food, from delicious fruit to the bounty of our state tree, the pecan. Quite simply, the Lone Star State would not be the special place it is without the trees that are vital to our lives and to our identity as Texans. With each passing year, we reaffirm our commitment to protecting our state's natural resources and acting as responsible stewards of this great land. Thanks to legislation passed to recognize and preserve our state's beauty and legacy, Texans are proud to celebrate Arbor Day each November. At this time, I encourage everyone to recognize the tremendous value of our trees and to learn how we can all preserve the treasure that is Texas. By working together to support conservation efforts, we can ensure a brighter, more beautiful future for our next generation. And it's signed, therefore, I, Greg Abbott, Governor of Texas, do hereby proclaim November 5th, 2021 to be Texas Arbor Day. So it's for you, Mayor. Thank you, Charles. Thank you. Appreciate that. Hold it, take a picture. Thank you.
Well, good morning, everybody. Thank you for being here on this wonderful, beautiful morning in Weatherford, Texas at a marquee facility named Shandor Gardens. If you haven't been to Weatherford, or if you are a resident here and you haven't visited Shandor Gardens, please come visit this facility. It is beautiful, it is historical, and as you can see, it is full of wonderful trees. We're honored to host this ceremony in Weatherford, Texas today. It's the official Arbor Day tree planting ceremony, and it's a day every year that's celebrated by all Texans. We have been a member, as you can see, of Tree City USA for 30 years. And to qualify for this membership, it's not easy to do, and even maintain it for 3 decades is even more difficult. There are criteria that are in place that have to be met to maintain this membership on an annual basis. These criteria have been established by the National Arbor Day Foundation and by the National Association of State Foresters. And I would like to briefly run through the criteria. Number 1 is that you must have a department or a process to oversee your city's trees. And number 2 is that you must pass and maintain a public tree care ordinance. You must also allocate $2 per capita annually on trees. And that you must recognize annually Arbor Day through a proclamation, which we're going to do just here momentarily. In the city of Weatherford, we proudly have met these criteria for 30 years, and we have zero intention of not doing that forever. As a community in Weatherford, we understand the importance of trees. Trees are historical. They're part of our heritage, and they also are a great example of sustainability. I want to tell you a quick story about my favorite tree in Weatherford, Texas. At the corner of Santa Fe and Highway 180 is what we call Heritage Park. And during our most recent expansion of this park, in the middle of the area that was going to be redeveloped is a 250-year-old live oak tree. And during the development of this by our Parks and Recreation staff, this tree became the marquee, the centerpiece of this final phase of development. It was developed around the tree. It was developed in a way where the tree would be protected and could flourish for another 250 years. So in life and in business and in service, you can say things are important to you, but when you show they're important through your actions and your care, that's when you know that you mean what you say. I'm proud of that tree. Trees are a resource that are a great value to the Weatherford community, and I really encourage all communities to make trees a priority for your cities. The trees that we have in Weatherford today tell a story about who we are. And as we change and we grow, the trees that we're going to add, along with the trees that are already here, help maintain who we are through the growth and the transition we're going to experience. I want to thank you for choosing Weatherford, Texas for today's ceremony. And at this time, I'd like to call up Shannon Goodman, our Director of Parks and Recreation, for the presentation of our local proclamation. Whereas in 1872, J. Sterling Morton proposed that the Nebraska Board of Agriculture, that a special day be set aside for the planting of trees. And whereas this holiday called Arbor Day was first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees in Nebraska. And whereas Arbor Day is now observed throughout the nation and the world. And whereas trees can reduce the erosion of our precious topsoil by wind and water, cut heating and cooling costs, moderate the temperature, clean the air, produce life-giving oxygen, and provide habitat for wildlife. And whereas trees are a renewable resource giving us paper, wood for our homes, fuel for our fires, and countless other wood products. And whereas trees in our city increase property values, enhance the economic vitality of business areas, and beautify our community. And whereas trees, wherever they are planted, are a source of joy and spiritual renewal. Now, therefore, I, Paul Paschal, the mayor of the city of Weatherford, Texas, do hereby proclaim November the 5th of 2021 as Arbor Day in the city of Weatherford. And I urge all citizens to celebrate Arbor Day and to support efforts to protect our trees and woodlands. Further, I urge all citizens to plant trees and gladden the heart and promote the well-being of this and future generations. Dated the 26th of October, 2021, Paul Pascal, Mayor. Thank you so much. Mr. Gooden, join us over here for a picture, please. Come on, sir. Thank you. Appreciate it.
To recognize their 30th year of the Tree City USA, we would like to share with the city their Tree City USA flag. Right.
Get it level. Teamwork. Thank you so much for this. We certainly appreciate it.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Thank you.
You know, Arbor Day means two things: celebrating trees and all that they do for us today, but always looking to the future. Planting trees is a strong statement to the commitment to those who follow us. While thinking about our future, we also proudly embrace our past. We couldn't be here celebrating Arbor Day without the leadership, foresight, and hard work of the Texas Forestry Association. Texas first observed Arbor Day in 1889. Here to help us commemorate this 132nd special day, please welcome Marty Harris, President of Texas Forestry Association.
Thank you, Hughes. Glad to be here this morning, Mayor. Thanks for having us, City of Weatherford. What a great honor it is. Distinguished guests, it's good to be here with you. As Hughes said, I'm Marty Harris, the current president of the Texas Forestry Association, and I'm honored to be here in Weatherford this morning representing the Texas Forestry Association. This is such an honor because this nationally recognized day, Arbor Day, it speaks to the root of what we're about. And at the Texas Forestry Association, we are celebrating Arbor Day because, mainly in part, the value of trees and the large vision, the vision that we have of two very important people mentioned earlier, one being Sterling Morton and the other one being Goodrich Jones, who started this for our nation and for Texas. And Goodrich Jones, he was also the founder of the Texas Forestry Association that happened in 1914. The Forestry Association is considered the voice of forestry in Texas. And because of Goodrich Jones, this long history of supporting Arbor Day continues today with us here. Texas has more than 60 million acres of classified forest land. The working forests of Texas represent about 12 million of those acres that are situated in the eastern portion of our state. Members of the Texas Forestry Association grow, manage, harvest, and process that forest every day. These timberlands are sustainably managed to provide clean water, provide recreational opportunities, and many other benefits that enrich our lives. Many of the urban areas in Texas depend upon the water that originate from the timberlands of East Texas. Trees, regardless of whether they're located in urban or rural settings, contribute to reducing greenhouse gases in our atmosphere by storing carbon above ground in their stems, branches, and in their roots below ground. After the trees in our East Texas timberlands are harvested, they continue to store carbon long-term as the wood used in buildings, furniture, and other solid wood products. Texas timberlands are managed responsibly to provide continuous economic growth for jobs and economic support to communities throughout Texas. As demonstrated during the ongoing COVID-19 epidemic, our support to communities throughout Texas continues. And through the total impact of the forestry sector in Texas, with just over $41 billion annually, and supports more than 172,000 direct and indirect jobs. In order to meet the goals of maintaining sustainable forests for the future of Texas, private family forest owners, investment companies, and public agencies replenish the state's timberlands by planting more than 83 million trees each year. That's more than 3.5 trees for every Texan each year. The abundant forest in East Texas will be a dependable and renewable resource for all citizens for this great state well into the future. I have the pleasure of serving as the president of the Texas Forestry Association during the time of growth and expansion of the Texas forest industry. The Texas Forestry Association will continue to work diligently serving Texas and the great people of this state in the industry, along with our partners such as the Texas A&M Forest Service and U.S. Forest Service. The Texas Forestry Association will continue to promote economic development of the forestry community across the state, ensuring our forest resources are appreciated and understood by all Texans as healthy, abundant, and essential to our well-being. I commend the City of Weatherford and the generous sponsors of this year's Texas Arbor Day. I think it's safe to say that J. Sterling Morton and W. Goodrich Jones will be proud of the citizens of Weatherford in recognition of your commitment to the significance of Arbor Day and the sustainable management of our natural resources. Thank you.
Thank you, Marty. You know, we're also fortunate to have several other dignitaries here with us today. Interim Director Al Davis with the Texas A&M Forest Service, Dr. Todd Watson, ISA Board Certified Master Arborist and Adjunct Professor, Texas A&M University, Mr. Rob Hughes, the Executive Director for the Texas Forestry Association, and Mr. A.J. Thibodeau, 2021 President of the Texas Chapter, International Society of Arboriculture. Our Arbor Day keynote speaker today is Dr. Todd Watson. Dr. Watson is a tree and landscape consultant and an adjunct professor and former leader of the Urban and Community Forestry program at Texas A&M University. He has a Bachelor of Science degree in horticulture and a PhD in plant pathology and microbiology. Dr. Watson has worked in the green industry for over 40 years and has been teaching college students and industry professionals how to care for trees for over 20 years. He continues to teach a 4-day short course every year to help people become certified arborists. He was named a Montague Teaching Scholar at Texas A&M in 2005, and in 2003, he was voted Texas Arborist of the Year. Dr. Watson is a longtime member of the International Society of Arboriculture, and he is a past president of the Board of Directors for the Texas chapter of ISA. Dr. Watson was the first ISA Board Certified Master Arborist in Texas. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Todd Watson.
So I want to first say thank you for inviting me to give the keynote address for the Texas Arbor Day celebration. That's a big honor. So, you know, I was really happy when 2020 ended because it was the worst year in my memory. I mean, we had masking, social distancing. I don't even think we could hug trees. You know, it was that bad. You know, now that I mention that, you ever ask yourself, maybe trees don't want to be hugged? I mean, do we need to get consent? I don't know. Hashtag tree too? Just something to think about. But it was at the end of 2020, I was already ready to turn over a new leaf. And then 2021 said, hold my beer. February, we had the worst freeze in my memory. And I'm old enough, you can tell by looking, that I worked through the 1983 freeze and the 1989 freeze. Wasn't just the freeze, though. Some parts of Texas just had unrelenting rainfall. And then other parts of Texas had severe droughts. I mean, Texas is a big country. It's a state now, Frat. So Texas is a big state. And yet, with all of that happening, trees are resilient. They live on. So many of you know John Muir, the father of national parks, co-founder of Sierra Club and its first president. He once said, God has cared for these trees, saved them from drought, disease, avalanches, and 1,000 tempests and floods. But he cannot save them from fools. So, you know, as I was thinking about this, I remember our struggle for many years. Texas Arbor Day used to be in April. And so we struggled to get it to November, and here we are on a beautiful, sunny, chilly day, a perfect day for planting trees. And I love seasons. We don't have many in Texas, but I love seasons because they teach us about life. So my favorite scientist, George Washington Carver, once said, reading about nature is fine, but if a person walks in the woods and listens carefully, he can learn more than what is in books, for they speak with the voice of God. And so, as we see fall fading into the cold, dark winter, when trees appear to be dead, we know that there will be a renewal of life in the spring. In fact, we plant seeds because we have faith that spring is coming. The seasons of the earth remind us of the seasons of life. As many of us reach our autumn years, many times we're more colorful than we were when we were younger. And yet life goes on and hope springs eternal. So let me start my Todd talk here by asking a question. What's the world's oldest profession? Okay, I know what you're thinking. I can hear the laughs. It's not that. So if you believe that there was an actual Garden of Eden, then the world's oldest profession is gardening. It's taking care of trees. In fact, there were two very important trees in the center of that garden, the tree of life and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Now, I don't really blame Adam for eating that apple, because if the most beautiful woman on earth comes up to you buck naked and hands you an apple and says, take a bite, no guy's turning that down. But I bring up this story, this well-known story in our culture, because trees are an important part of our story since we first walked on earth. I propose that without trees, humanity would not even exist. Think of all that you're sitting on trees. Think of all the things that we use trees for. Think long and hard about it, because a great legacy has been handed down to us. Trees are our past, they're our present, and trees are our future. Trees are mentioned all the way back to the first chapter of the Bible, or the Torah, when it says, on the third day, God said, let the land produce vegetation, plants yielding seeds, and trees on the land bearing fruit with seed in it according to their kinds. It was so. The land produced vegetation, plants yielded seeds according to their kind, and trees bearing fruit with seed in it according to their kinds. God saw that it was good. Trees are good. The International Society of Arboriculture agrees. They even have a website called treesaregood.com. However, it's not just a Western or Judeo-Christian culture that talks about trees. All cultures throughout history have revered trees. So let me take you on just a brief sprint through history. All the way back to 5800 BC, that we have the earliest written record of trees that's found in the Gilgamesh epic. It talks about the sacred garden of cedar trees. Unfortunately, Gilgamesh cut down all the cedar trees, so let's move on. The earliest known planting of trees along streets and parks is in Samaria in 4000 BC. In 3500 BC, there are hieroglyphs that depict frankincense trees being transported in containers in Egypt. In fact, Egyptians are known as the fathers of arboriculture. In 1200 BC, records show that the highways of the Zhou dynasty were lined with trees. By 300 BC, King Xerxes was reported to have halted his army for 3 days just to admire a single tree before he then went on and conquered Greece. Theophrastus, the Greek and the father of botany, wrote numerous volumes on trees in 300 BC. Romans coined the term arborator, and Aristotle, Plato, and others studied philosophy under the trees of academe. Now let's fast forward to the United States. In 1642, Massachusetts enacts a law enabling treble damages to tree owners for damage to fruit trees. Thank goodness George Washington didn't get put into jail for cutting down a cherry tree. In 1682, William Penn advised people to build their houses in the center of the lot so that they would have room for trees and gardens and fields. In fact, the word Pennsylvania means Penn's Forest. So that our Texas Arbor Day doesn't go on for 2 days, I've skipped a great deal of history about trees, but let's jump to 1907. This is the year of the first National Arbor Day celebration, of course, as we've known, started by that salty fellow, J. Sterling Morton. Teddy Roosevelt said on that day in 1907, "It is well that you should celebrate your Arbor Day thoughtfully, for within your lifetime, the nation's need of trees will become serious." So, as I've demonstrated in this brief history lesson, the love of trees is not just an American tradition or Texas. In fact, numerous proverbs have been recorded throughout the ages and around the world about trees. Let me just give you a few examples. A Dutch proverb says, "The taller the tree is, the harder the fall." Yeah, I like that one. So, not that I'm judging people or trees based on their height. I'm not a bigot or a little-it. It's okay. An Arabian proverb says, "Do not cut down the trees that give you shade." A German proverb says, "A good tree bears fruit." Or as the Bible says, "You will know a tree by its fruits." And then most of us know a famous Chinese proverb that says, "The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is today." So I mentioned the trees are our future. Have you ever planted a tree to commemorate the birth of someone or to honor the death of a loved one? I recently had a client who passed away, and he and his wife love trees. And so National Arbor Day Foundation has a legacy program where you can plant trees in the honor of a loved one. So I did that, and they give you a certificate. And I gave the certificate to his wife, and she was so moved that there were trees planted in his honor. And I deal with people all the time that will spend a lot of money and desperately fight to save a tree because it was planted by, a long-lost relative. It's as if losing a tree is losing a valuable memory. And so why are they important to us, besides the other benefits that we know about, is trees span generations. So trees are a living legacy that live on after we've left this earth. They provided for our ancestors, they're providing for us, they'll provide for our descendants. Sometimes maybe the same tree. So I began talking about the beginning of life and trees in the garden. But you know what? The end of the story also ends with a tree in a garden. If you look at Revelation 22, it says, "Then the angel showed me the river of the water of life, water as clear as crystal, pouring out from the throne of God, and the Lamb flowing down the middle of the city's main street. On each side of the river is the tree of life, producing 12 kinds of fruit, yielding its fruit every month of the year. Its leaves are for the healing of the nations." God loves trees. We love trees. Trees are good. We've been left a great legacy, a tree legacy. And it's our job to be good stewards of what we've received. So I'll finish with this poem that I think everybody knows by Joyce Kilmer. What you may not know, you may have been like me. For years, I thought Joyce Kilmer was a woman. Wrong. Joyce Kilmer is a dude. So I don't know if it's like the Johnny Cash song and a boy named Sue that his dad named him Joyce, so he'd be tough. He was tough. He in World War I, he was a decorated war hero before, at the age of 31, he was killed by a sniper's bullet. But in those 3 decades, he left a legacy of 5 children in his written works, including a very simple but profound poem, which I will read. "I think that I shall never see a poem lovely as a tree whose hungry mouth is pressed against the sweet earth's flowing breast, a tree that looks at God all day and lifts her leafy arms to pray, a tree that may in summer wear a nest of robins in her hair, upon whose bosom snow has fain, who intimately lives with rain. Poems are made by fools like me, but only God can make a tree.
Thank you, Dr. Watson, Marty Harris, and Mayor Pascal. From these remarks today, it is evident that Texans love their trees. We saw this firsthand over the last several years as we faced challenge after challenge. Like the impact of Weatherford's trees from Winter Storm Uri, we saw effects that storm to trees across the rest of the state too. The devastating sub-freezing temperatures over an extended period of time caused significant branch and stem mortality and resulted in a very delayed leaf out. By late spring, Texans wanted to know if their trees would survive. Texas A&M Forest Service teamed up with Neil Sperry, a well-known Texas gardening and horticultural expert, and Texas A&M AgriLife Extension to unify messaging of wait and watch. The May press release and subsequent Facebook post went viral, reaching over 600,000 people, and spawned numerous interviews and panel discussions, likely saving thousands of our precious trees from early removal. COVID also taught us the value of nature and trees. Parks, neighborhoods, and tree-lined streets were more crowded than ever. There were more people in my own neighborhood than I'd ever seen or met before. We all wanted to be outside. It made us feel good. Exposure to trees decreases mental fatigue by relaxing and restoring the mind. Trees absorb pollutants so you can breathe clean, fresh air, helping the brain release serotonin to boost your energy and mood. This intersection between trees and health is being amplified at exactly the right time and moment now. It has always existed, but today there are more findings supporting this connection than ever before. So essentially, trees are helping solve some of our health issues, but they also reach much further than that, helping us solve other challenges facing Texas, like drinking water supply, flood management, urban heat islands. They're always working hard to promote healthier, happier lives, communities, and even the planet. Weatherford is right to see Arbor Day as a way to put all the chaos and turbulence behind us, to start afresh by planting trees and turning over a new leaf. What a party Weatherford has put on today. Shannon Goodman, if you will please come up to receive the Arbor Day plaque on behalf of all the work you, your staff, and your departments did to bring Texas Arbor Day to Weatherford. Thank you to the City of Weatherford for serving as our host and planning such a wonderful event. Usually, at this time, we pass the ceremonial torch, or shovel in this case, to next year's host city. This year, we're passing it to all Texans, encouraging you to celebrate Arbor Day in your own communities. I hope we will see your celebrations in our virtual Arbor Day event next year. I'm proud of the partnership between Texas A&M Forest Service, Texas Forestry Association, for upholding this worthwhile statewide event each year, and ISA Texas and the National Arbor Day Foundation for their continued support. On a personal note, I would like to recognize our own regional urban forester, Courtney Blevins, for his help in coordinating this remarkable event in Weatherford, as well as all of the Texas A&M Forest Service staff that made this live streaming event a reality, and all of the other urban foresters from across the state celebrating with their home communities. This concludes the ceremony part of our celebration. Now it is time for us to actually get to work and plant a tree. In just a few minutes, we'll have a ceremonial mulching of the State Arbor Day tree, a 45-gallon bur oak donated by Encore. If Al Davis, Dr. Todd Watson, Charlie Cripliver, Shannon Goodman, and Mayor Paul Pascal please come join me at the ceremonial tree planting site. So stay tuned to the live stream after this brief video on how to properly plant a tree, and we'll take a glimpse at the beautiful Chandler Gardens and then come right back to mulch the 2021 Arbor Day tree. Happy Arbor Day, y'all.
Check out your surroundings before you begin. Are there obstructions overhead? Is there enough space around the tree? Do you know what's below ground? Call 811 before you dig. Your planting hole should be 1.5 times the diameter of the root ball. Place your potted tree where you want to plant it. Use your shovel to cut through the grass and outline the hole. Set your tree aside and begin digging your hole. Scrape off the turf and set it aside. You'll use it later. Pile all your dirt close by in one place. It'll make it easier when you backfill. The depth of your hole should be a little less than the depth of the root ball. You can use your shovel for a quick measurement. Take your tree out of the pot and inspect the root ball. Loosen the soil and uncoil any circling roots. Check the depth of your hole. The trunk flare, or the top of the root ball, should be at or slightly above ground level. If the hole is too deep, add some soil from your pile. Once your hole is at the appropriate depth, place your tree in the hole. Start backfilling with just the soil you dug out of the hole. After you have about half of your dirt backfilled, water in and tamp down the soil to remove air pockets. Make sure your tree is standing straight. Continue to backfill the hole with your soil. Water in and tamp down the soil again. Now take your chunks of turf and place them upside down around the edge of your planting hole. This will create a nice berm to hold water for your tree for the next few years. Apply a nice top dressing of mulch. The depth of mulch should never be more than 2 to 3 inches deep, and less than that directly over the root ball. Make sure mulch is not in direct contact with the trunk. Finish off by moistening the mulch. Following these steps will help make sure your tree will grow to maturity.
Thank you for joining the virtual Texas Arbor Day celebration. To learn more about how you can celebrate at home, visit tfsweb.tamu.edu/Arbor Day.
Happy Texas Arbor Day!